Johnny Crawford, the beloved son and idol of Hollywood, was a remarkable young man who won over audiences everywhere he appeared. But was his real life as perfect as his on-screen persona suggested? We will reveal some of Johnny's darkest secrets, even the ones that led to his death today. Johnny Cash was a famous American actor, singer, and musician who was well known to anyone who watched television in the 1960s or 1980s. In The Rifleman, he played the charming Mark McCain, and in the original Mickey Mouse Club, he was one of the Mouseketeers. On occasion, his performance was so convincing that viewers forgot about Johnny and Mark. He was that brilliant at playing the part. His assertions are supported by the fact that he was nominated for an Emmy at the tender age of 13, so they are not mere assertions. Because his handlers weren't content to limit the young man's recognition to his role as Rifleman, he developed an aptitude for popularity. They also forced him to do other bits of show business. Whatever music he put out had an immediate impact on the market and became an instant hit, propelling him to stardom in his music career. You probably had no idea that he was sometimes unpaid despite his superb acting. He enjoyed surprising people at all times. However, his 2021 bombshell left his admirers heartbroken. So many questions emerged, the most pressing of which is why a person of his stature had to die burdened with so many unanswered issues. Well, you'll have to read this whole thing until the very end to find out. Robert Lawrence Crawford's Sr. and Betty Crawford welcomed their son Crawford into the world on March 26, 1946 in Los Angeles. The Belgians were his maternal grandparents. Alfred Eugene Megerlin, a well-known violinist, was his maternal grandpa. He and his three brothers Cordon, Robert, and Nance were raised in a warm and supportive home. His tremendous destiny was presented to him in a silver platter, as you may have guessed by now, because he hailed from a well-defined line of family. He certainly possessed some inherent ability. No, Johnny's talent was so exceptional that he and his elder brother Robert co-starred in the 1959 TV series Laramie, and the whole family was nominated for Emmys. Both of the brothers' fathers received nominations, one for film editing and one for acting. At the age of 9, he decided to step up his already impressive portfolio. After much persuasion from his parents, he tried out for the Mickey Mouse Club's Mouseketeer job. The producers glanced at the small boy and immediately thought he was perfect for the part. Without hesitation, Johnny accepted the position and started collaborating with a BC to film the episode. Now the shocking part arrives. I thought you all knew that a BC never paid Johnny. Actually, Johnny and his parents informed his agency that payment wasn't required, as it was merely a sentiment to a BC which had no plans to pay him. This wasn't the case for their family, even though most people would consider it extremely cruel to do this to a child. For them, the value of having their son play the part is far higher than any monetary compensation they might receive. Instead, they were gaining notoriety. The kind of notoriety that would catapult their kid to heights they had never imagined for him in Hollywood. Their little prank paid off 100-fold, nay, 1,000,000-fold, as he began landing increasingly larger jobs. He made numerous appearances on the Red Team during his 1955 debut on Disney's The Mickey Mouse Club as one of the original 24 Mouseketeers. Along with him, his brother Bobby shot to fame after making an appearance on the show. After the first season, he decided he had gotten what he wanted out of the business and decided to leave. He left a BC and was cast in his debut feature, The Sons of Katie Elder, without delay. John Wayne was in the film with him, so there's no need to be worried. Is Wayne unrelated to Batman? In any case, he gained self-assurance, the second quality of a successful performer, by participating in this picture. Along with The Little Boy Lost, he was a part of a slew of other critically acclaimed films. Because it was a high-end video theater production that premiered on March 15, 1956, Crawford got her big break as an actor with this release. His 1956 appearance in one of the few color episodes of the hit Western series The Lone Ranger was another notable appearance in his professional career. During his 2.5 years as a freelancer, he gained around 60 television credits, including appearing as Manu in I Am an American, an episode of the crime thriller The Sheriff of Cochise, and 3 episodes of The Loretta Young Show on NBC. He became even more famous for his role as Bobby Adams in the 1958 drama Courage of Black Beauty, and he also appeared in the 1958 Season 1 finale of The Restless Gun. He seemed to have some sort of connection to every major film and TV show from that time, and the child was riding high. He made an appearance in the 1958 Tales of Wells Fargo episode The Dealer as Tommy Peel. After being exposed to the spotlight and fame, what do you believe happens to a young talent? Corruption sets in. Was young Johnny similarly poisoned by the allure of fame? We will discover. After years of playing the supporting role, Johnny Crawford finally broke through with his role in The Rifleman. He took on the role of Mark McCain, the son of war veteran Lucas McCain, this time around. Once again, we'll remind you that the legendary Chuck Connors is the renowned war veteran. Since Chuck was one of the pioneers to portray a solo father on live television, the part is particularly significant. It goes without saying that this internationally renowned performance was a huge success throughout its run from 1958 to 1963. No one living during that era had ever heard of such a connection. There was a new phenomenon in television that taught viewers valuable life lessons through the portrayal of a father-son relationship that was both sweet and bitter. After making an appearance in 168 episodes, Johnny climbed to the top of Hollywood stardom thanks to his portrayal of the Rifleman. It was widely believed that Chuck Connors was the one who brought Johnny to the forefront and helped him become famous. However, you will have to be patient as we reveal how Johnny salvaged Connors' career and allowed him to play the legendary Rifleman role for an extended period of time. Following that, from 1965 to 1969, he was a household name thanks to the hit TV series The Big Valley. Barbara Stanwyck played the role of the wealthy widow of a rancher from the 19th century in an American Western series in which Johnny co-starred. Johnny nailed his other roles in the films Cavalcade of America and The Count of Monte Cristo. At this point in his career, Johnny was the Golden Sparrow, and everyone knew that anything he was involved with would be a smashing success. Camingos on Rawhide and Hawaii 5-0 were his lure to get more appearances. He was a frequent guest on both Mike Douglas's show and Johnny Carson's The Tonight Show. Kids want to be Johnny and enjoy his lavish lifestyle since he had become a household name and a symbol of fame. Now that Johnny is going to rescue Connors, things are going to become interesting. The first step was the acquisition of the rights from MPI by Levy Gardner Levin Productions, the original producers of The Rifleman. This was done in late 2013, and the release of all 168 episodes in sequential order began. In the third season, our hero Lucas McCain started courting Miss Millie, which led to the show's cancellation despite its early popularity. The romance between McCain and Millie came to an end in Season 4 since it was unpopular with fans. Connor saw to of his job when things got rough due to low compensation. John Anderson or James Whitmore was nearly a replacement for him. After seeing Connors' pleasant interactions with young Johnny Crawford and his good on-screen chemistry with Lucas McCain, the producers decided to enhance their offer. Connors kept his job as Rifleman after accepting the new offer. Thank goodness for Johnny, since without him he never would have become the famous star he is today. Johnny and Crawford worked well together, but their relationship off-set was, oh my, intense. This one might require you to take a seat. Crawford held Connor in contempt. He saw him as an annoyance and a negative influence. His description of Connors as a practical joker was somewhat extreme. His acting career was so successful that people would remember him for generations. But losing Johnny's fame and glory would be the worst punishment imaginable. What exactly does that imply? It will be revealed to you soon. Since they are completely unfamiliar with Johnny and his background, many find his decision to abruptly take up music to be strange or inappropriate. As we have already mentioned, Johnny was born into a renowned musical family. His maternal grandpa, Alfred Eugene Magerlin, had a musical background that included playing the violin in Germany and Belgium before moving to the US in 1914. His mother was a pianist. In the beginning of her career as a violin instructor, Frances was taught to play the violin by her loving husband, Alfred. A founding member of numerous illustrious orchestras, including the New York Philharmonic, Alfred played the violin. Like her father, his daughter had a natural gift for music. She played the piano. Granddaddy featured Bobby Crawford, another major player in the music industry who co-founded the Crawford Music Corporation with Irving Berlin. In 1929, he sold Warner Brothers his music repertoire after producing magnificent musicals and plays for Broadway. By the time he did so in 1941, his family, including Johnny, had inherited all of his musical fortune. Johnny became enamored with Bobby's songs once he was released from the service. Johnny became acquainted with director Charles L. Turner when stationed in Queens, New York during his service. He developed a new appreciation for musicals from the 1930s as a result of this meeting. People began comparing Johnny to Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire once he picked up his guitar and played it so passionately, which he felt connected with his grandpa's soul. He finally succeeded in the early 1960s. He was ready to move on to the next level now that he had the necessary experience and training. When he recorded his debut single, Daydreams, in 1961 and made the decision to turn his hobby into a career, he joined with Delphi Records after quickly becoming famous as the son of a rifleman, which brought him a legion of fans. Their assistance was crucial in his song's ascent to the Billboard Top 100. During his career, Johnny put out 3 albums and had 8 singles that reached the top 100 on Billboard. He made sure to carry out his grandfather's work. Big band, jazz, and swing were Johnny's musical specialties, so he founded the Johnny Crawford Dance Orchestra. Even though he had achieved tremendous success in the entertainment industry, the man still had one more surprise in store for his fans. Johnny Crawford's devotion to rodeo was unwavering. He was highly involved with the American Junior Rodeo Association and the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. Fortunately, he had honed his rodeo skills over the years, since the Riflemen were nearly perfect. Something he was quite proud of was his abilities in steer wrestling, calf roping, bronc riding, and bull riding. For the purpose of becoming an unrivaled expert, he also trained in trick roping. After surprising everyone with his unexpected patriotism, Johnny seemed to have made a solemn vow to shower his fans with as many surprises as possible. Johnny decided to join the United States Army because he felt his nation needed him and he wanted to do what he could to help. He was a soldier in the Vietnam War for 2 years, from 1965 to 1967. For the benefit of his nation, Johnny gave up his prosperous career and all he loved. According to him, he was never giving up anything. "It is my duty to my nation." He started his military career at Fort Bliss in Texas, where he completed basic training. His path ultimately took him to the Army Pictorial Center in New York, where he helped create training videos. One of Johnny's go-to gags in his letters home was a comparison of military haircuts to historical scalping. While working at the Army Pictorial Center, he took great pleasure in making instructional videos to better prepare troops for battle and advance his own career. After achieving the rank of sergeant, he was duly released in December 1967. Upon his return after serving his country, Johnny was a changed man, more committed to his job and his family. He reconnected with his high school love, Charlotte Somko, in 1990 after he felt he had achieved enough success in his career. They had been dating for 5 years when they decided it was time to tie the knot. Their marriage was rock solid, and Johnny was one of the luckiest guys in Hollywood. He never had to go through the hassle of divorcing or breaking up a relationship. Johnny was still a parent even though he never had children of his own. He had a wonderful life with his stepdaughters Brenda and Jamie, whom he reared with love. Johnny and his brother Bobby frequently appeared in the Mickey Mouse Club and went on to become a musical duo known as the Crawford Brothers. They also enjoyed working with other members of their family. He took a break from performing after serving his country. But Johnny got back into acting with some great parts in 1991's The Luck of the Draw and The Gambler Returns, and he even worked with Chuck Connors again on one of those films. Up until his retirement in 1999, his acting career was a smashing success. He made a charming comeback in 2019's The Marshal, a silent picture by William S. Hart. Why was his demise so tragic is an open question. What, if anything, did he do in 2021 to surprise his followers? Picture this: your life is absolutely wonderful and full of splendor. Even though you're only in your 20s, you already have everything a typical superstar dreams of and never make the mistakes that other young stars do. However, you achieve all of these things when you are young. Keep in mind that although it may appear little now that you're older, Johnny never had this privilege. Once Johnny received his Alzheimer's disease diagnosis, he lost all recollection of his popularity. On his deathbed, he never recognized his loved ones, even though they were all around him. Have you any idea how terrifying and isolated that kind of end can be? It was a severe punishment meted out by Lady Luck. His net worth was approximately $500,000 at the time, but medical expenses ate up most of it. A GoFundMe campaign was started to help with these expenses. Then, on April 29, 2021, the news broke that our beloved Johnny Crawford had died away, shocking admirers once more. His cause of death was not Alzheimer's but COVID-19. May Johnny Crawford rest in peace. The world will hold you in its hearts forever, and you will be remembered as a radiant tear.